The choices previous generations of Palo Altans made about housing have shaped the character of the community we live in today. In the early days, Palo Alto was a bustling college town. Boarding and rooming houses for Stanford students made up a major portion of the local housing stock. There were rooming houses on the second story of commercial buildings, and many homes were even built with extra rooms to rent out. Then in the post-war era, Joseph Eichler designed and built homes for young and growing families. His open concept designs let Mom keep a constant eye on her brood from her perch in the kitchen. This was housing built to suit the changing lifestyles of the times. But today, Eichlers are still integral to the Palo Alto aesthetic. It's not only the type of homes we build, but also the location of housing that shapes the character of our community. The comp plan establishes an urban service area within which to focus development in order to protect surrounding areas of natural open space. Within the urban service area, comp plan policies direct new development along transit corridors and near employment centers while protecting and preserving the single-family residential neighborhoods and open space lands that together comprise about 80% of the city. Now, as a largely built-out city at the heart of a growing region, we're faced with a new set of choices that will define the character of Palo Alto in the years to come. What types of housing are needed to suit the lifestyles of tomorrow's residents? How can we design housing that contributes to the character of the community we want? And where should future housing be located? But who are we planning new housing for? Let's take a look at Palo Alto by the numbers to get a sense of who we are now and who is likely to be living here in 2030. Today, Palo Alto has significantly more seniors than elsewhere in the county or the state. But we have about as many young people under the age of 18. We have a comparable number of households with children under 18 as elsewhere in the county and the state, but there are notably more of us living alone. We're becoming a more diverse community, and about 44% of Palo Alto residents are renters, which is on par with the county and state averages. Looking to the future, between 2014 and 2030, the number and share of Palo Altans aged 65 and over will increase as the aging of our population continues. We'll see continued job growth. Palo Alto is an economic engine in the region, and our innovative firms will continue to create jobs here. In the years to come, job growth is projected to outpace population growth. If that happens, it's likely that home prices and rents will continue to rise, making it difficult for young families to enter the housing market, for current renters to remain in the community, or for seniors to age in place. State law requires that California cities make enough land available to meet their fair share of the projected regional housing need in a given 7-year cycle. Cities are not required to build housing to meet the requirements of the law, but to ensure that adequate sites and zoning are available to accommodate their share of the projected housing demand during the planning period. Palo Alto meets this requirement through the housing element of the comp plan. With few large vacant parcels in the city, future housing is accommodated largely through redevelopment of existing sites. The current housing element identifies over 150 different sites for future housing. These are generally concentrated in the downtown area, along El Camino, south of College Avenue, and along San Antonio Road. Most of these sites are located along the main transportation corridors, close to major retail and employment destinations. But some of the sites, particularly those along San Antonio Road, are not as well served by transit, or as close to schools, parks, hospitals, and other neighborhood services. Some voices in the community have suggested shifting the location of sites along South El Camino Real and San Antonio to the north. They could be accommodated by increasing density on existing sites downtown and in the Cal Ave area, and by encouraging housing on new sites along El Camino Real. This is a choice that could reshape the character of El Camino. Ground floor retail, street setbacks, public spaces, and upper story stepbacks are all design elements that contribute to neighborhood character. How can we use design to guide the character of development along this important corridor or elsewhere in the city? Today, we'd like your input on these housing choices. Again, the questions at hand are: what types of housing are needed to suit the lifestyles of tomorrow's residents? How can we design housing that contributes to the character of the community we want? And where should future housing be located? Would you support eliminating future housing opportunity sites from the south and increasing densities downtown and along El Camino in the north? We look forward to hearing your ideas about housing the next generation of Palo Altans and their grandparents.